Hi there again, everybody. Welcome back to Prestige Auctions. It's auction aftermath time once again. And I'm fresh in from doing the Not Sold Challenge boot sale at Morrison's this morning. I'm a bit hot. It's been very warm out there today. Not as hot as it was in the auction room yesterday, though. This is for the auction that took place on the 21st of June. And it was an interesting day for Prestige. We was on the back of two fantastic auctions through the week on the Wednesday and the Thursday, where we sold the coins and the jewellery and all the other bits and bobs, the cigarette card collections and everything else. So it's been quite busy week for us. Of course, then straight into Friday viewing, Saturday auction, and then Sunday doing the boot sale challenge, which we did quite successfully, might I add, but you'll have to watch the podcast for that, hence why I'm wearing a Team Carl t-shirt today, because that's what we've been doing this morning. So how was the auction yesterday? Well, it was quite an interesting day. Now, we knew the weather forecast for the weekend was fantastic, so we always knew the auction room was going to be a little bit quiet. We also knew it was going to be hot, so we supplied ice lollies for everybody as well, gave all them away free of charge. Try and keep people a little bit cooler in the room, and people turned out for us once again this week. So let's go on to the actual the catalogue there and see. So I can't do it on that screen. Do it on that screen. There we go. Have I done it right? There you go. So there we go. We started off with lot number one, and we started off on these busts and things. And to be fair, there wasn't loads of money around for anything this week, but there wasn't what I would call a big money sale. We'd done those on the Wednesday and the Thursday. The busts were selling at a few pounds each, and then as we got onto the mainstream of clocks, it was basically the £7 show. There was the odd one that went over, but basically clock after clock after clock, we had a £6 bid on the book, which was being taken out in the room. So the one bidder was taking out most of the numbers on the book, and of course all of the clocks were selling. I don't think any of them went unsold, so it sort of stayed quite normal for a little while as we came down here. Now to my mind, there was stuff like that could have been bought. They were selling at sort of £5 and £6 each on eBay. That only made a few pounds, so there was money to be made in the room this week by. And again, we say this all the time, especially when it's hot weather. Yes, it's uncomfortable to sit in an auction room for several hours, but if you do it, you're the one that's going to get the bargains. You're the ones that's going to be earning the money. This one made a few quid over the £7 that we was getting, and then we started coming on to some of the interesting bits. We had a lot of this sort of stuff in the auction this week. This is sort of old Breweryana stuff, whether it be water jugs. We had a load of trays in there as well. As we come down this way, this was the first thing of note, and I don't mind telling you, I bought this at 160 odd pounds yesterday. Very, very good quality clock. I've bought it for the challenge that we're doing, so I think I can double my money on that, but we shall wait and see on that one. If I end up chucking it back in the auction, you'll know how wrong I was. As we come down here again onto these sort of things were making money. The old cherry brandy bucket there, ice bucket, and then I think there was another one as well not too far away. So there you see there all the old trays and that, the old bar trays. I think somebody was maybe in the pub industry back in the day. And of course the pineapple ice bucket, very similar to the one that Del Boy had on Only Fools and Horses. Guitars made a few quid, but again, nothing major. I thought that was cheap. 103 was the Bang & Olufsen stuff. I think that made about £30, that one. So again, there was bargains to be had in the auction room this week. We sold a load more clocks, and then we sold the blank media. Blank media, of course, that one made about 20 something pounds. Now, these sold individually can make quite a lot of money. So again, I would start looking at those things, and don't just disregard stuff like that, because you can make extra money on it. The Colport figures were quite cheap this week. They was only making sort of £4 each, but a lot of them did have nibbles on them and such like. So, there was some little bits of damage there. And of course, the damage on those things makes all the difference. They were cheap, I think. I think they were under a tenner as well, from what I remember. But again, a nice thing there, nice piece that somebody's going to make a few quid on, I would have thought, unless, of course, they're deciding to keep it. Neo and Ladro, well, it was just, forget it. It was hard work. It was very hard to sell. And then this one there, which did okay. I think it was like 15, 16 quid, but I thought that could have done a little bit more on another day. I think it would have done. But that one there as well, the old Super Kings jug there as well, water jug for the bar. And these here, the old ship's decanters there, they could have made more on another day. I think they still made about 40 odd pounds, so quite nice things those were. As we came down this way, then we come on to coins, and we started on this humongous collection of watches. And one or two of the boxes did well at sort of 30s and 40s. I think only £50 on some of them. But generally speaking, they were reasonably cheap. Well, why? Because there's mainly parts and stuff like that. Now, anybody that's into watchmaking or watch repairing, there was some good parts to be had in there. Again, more of the Breweryana stuff, the old harp. I don't think they even make that anymore. I haven't seen it for years. And famous grouse trays and things. Again, somebody that's got a home bar, a man cave, whatever you want to call it these days, then those things could have been quite good for them. We also had lots of different pocket watches in big lots as well before we went on to sell. Oh, pardon me. I was getting up at 4 o'clock this morning after not going to bed till 11 o'clock. Not good for you. Down here, we had single watches and things. We had a few air pistols and sporting crossbow and things that all sold okay. Next real battle of the day was the Longines watch there, and I want to say that finished at about £125, which wasn't too bad at all for both sides. In terms of jewellery, some of this silver wasn't the best quality. That's all I can say, and I mean that with the greatest of the respect to the person that put it in. But a lot of this stuff that just says S925 on it isn't the best stuff. I mean, this stuff looks really nice, but doesn't sell for much money at all, I'm afraid. We then got onto the pocket watches, and the pocket watches, well, they sold okay. They was all right, and this one here was about 130 odd quid, I think, the large pocket watch there. And then we had some of the military pocket watches and some Omega ones as well, and they was all doing fair money. This lot here, the crowns this week, didn't sell one of them. How strange is that? Normally every week they sell on and above the reserve, but this week nothing doing. Maybe there's just been a few too many of them in recently. Then got onto the gold. One or two cheap bits of gold this week, and then one or two bits that made all the money as well. Even though the tag didn't sell during the sale, it did afterwards at £150 reserve. That one there, that one went as well. But again, I would say to everybody week on week, come in and start doing your homework on the jewellery, because some of this stuff went a bit too cheap yesterday, and all depends what you're looking for, I suppose, though. As we came off the jewellery cabinet and started going into the room, well, the Revitive, that one there was, oh God, listen at me. I'm getting too old for this. The Revitive, £40-50, that one. They are good quality bits of kit, those, and they always do command the money when they're in the auction room. You're never going to buy them cheap. That one there that I'd been walking past all week that I thought was a set of scales was actually a direct entry program scanner receiver, some sort of radio device there. One of these things that I've really fell off the cliff these days is this old cine equipment stuff, cine projectors, cine editors, stuff like that. None of it seems to be selling that well. As we come down here, suitcases, soup cauldrons, stuff like that. Very cheap, very, very cheap indeed. Money to be made on them. People need to start buying this stuff, looking a bit closer. Most of the fans that were for sale in the room yesterday were in use at some point of the room somewhere. It was very, very warm in there. Good money on the records, or fair money on the records for what they were, and they were all selling. We got onto PlayStation games and CDs, Now CDs. Look at that. This one before was the older box of Now CDs. But again, not making the money they used to. They used to make all the money. As we came down here, there was some money on the mannequin heads and the little boxes. Again, there was a bit of a race on for that one as well, for the old tea caddy there, which was a nice bit of old wood, that one. And this is your time, everybody, when it's warm like this, to be making the money on these things, to be able to buy them up cheap and then sell them at a few quid elsewhere, which we've proved you can do even with not solds this morning at the boot sale. But if you watch the podcast, you'll see that one soon enough. As we came through the centre of the room, some bits sold, some didn't. I always knew that furniture and stuff would be a problem this week. I think all of those sold in the end. The NATO camouflage, like body warmer type things. As we came down here, there we started getting onto the pictures. Now Lisa had taken over at this point, so I'm going to have to flick through this because I really was having some lunch at this point, so I don't know what she did. I don't even know if all the teddies sold this week. I'm imagining the wood, because they do seem to most weeks. And then she went through the pigeonholes and things and sold all that. And then, of course, into the back room as we started hitting the tools. Now, there were some good quality tools in the auction this week, so some of them were making some real money, which was nice to see. People recognising bits of quality. There was reels of wire, that was all selling, but that was cheap, so you could have made money on that as well. And again, extension leads and things, a couple of those, they weren't making fortunes, and they are a lot of money to buy. So you should be getting involved with stuff like this. The thing that did struggle, of course, was all the kitchen parts. They always do. But all of the toolboxes there, the tool chests or whatever, in all them stacks, they all sold to the same buyer. As we came down here, the big tool chest, from what I remember, that was about £125, that one. So that one sold okay. But again, someone that's looking for one, cheap, really. There were a lot of money to buy in the shops. When you come down here, there was more and more of the tools, and there was a bit of a bidding war on for these as well. I seem to think that they made 160, 170 quid for those wheels. Are they Audi ones? I think that probably is the Audi sign there, is it? So again, stuff was selling. One buyer took all of the folding wooden things there, the pallet things. So again, more money made on those. Shelving units all sold, but again, it was cheap. And then we got onto golf clubs. Not all of the stretchers sold this week, but a few of them did sell. I don't think they sold at the time, but I see a few people carrying them away afterwards, so they must have matched the reserve. The engine lift, 120, 130 quid. And then, by the way, I really don't need to get up at 4 again. And this one here was some sort of press. That was an engine lift. The one before that's an engine press, and I think that did £75, something like that. Got onto the front table. And then the fun started. Well, the writing slope there, I think that made about £130. That was a nice one. And then as you looked here, we went on to the thing there that made £45-50, the old gramophone, and then the single fusee clock, 120, 130 on that one. And then the music box making 200 as well, which again I thought was cheap. I thought, in a decent antique centre, 500 quid for that maybe. But there you go, it's in the auction on the day. Bidding was taking place for the stamps. The white goods were super cheap this week. Again, none of the dealers came in, so everything was super cheap. When you come down here, the furniture we always knew was going to be a bit of a problem because it was too hot. When anything's hot, furniture bombs. It's always the same. But there were single beds and things that didn't sell at £4. The keyboard didn't sell. So as you're coming down these things, that chair made £20-25, and then all of this stuff here, just didn't do that well at all. And because people can't be bothered to move it. That's the only thing I can put it down to, is that people can't be bothered to move this stuff because it's so cheap to buy that any decent second-hand shop should be filling the doors with it. We've just proved, we took some of the not sold bits of furniture to the boot sale and sold them straight away this morning. So it just shows you that this stuff can be sold. So there you go, everybody. Thank you ever so much for watching this short aftermath. I'm going to go home and try and get an hour on the settee, I think, because I keep yawning and I'm so tired. It's been a long day. The auction room is going to be packed again next week, of course, as always. And the team are already working out there hard to try and get the room emptied, ready for filling it up again tomorrow. Sneak peek will be out tomorrow night, and then you'll be able to have a look at what's coming to the auction. So thank you ever so much, everybody that left bids, came to the auction bid, and helped out our small family-run business in Grimsby. And we will see you all again very soon at the auction.